Welcome to the next entry in a Fextralife series highlighting the top 5 RPGs for the upcoming month. In this edition, we're going to take a look at what we think are the top 5 RPGs of February 2018, talk a little about each, and then explain why we think they deserve to be on the list. So join me now and find a mixture of some hidden gems and old favorites given a shiny new coat of paint. Valentine's Day is nearly here. Get into the spirit of things with the list of single-player RPG games that will give you an excuse to ignore your loved one for days. Some ports creep onto the list, starting with an honorable mention of Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age, and a brief look at other RPG remakes Square Enix has in store for us. Honorable mention Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. Final Fantasy XII divided opinions strongly when it was first released back in 2006. Not with critics though. They seem to universally adore it, hailing it as one of the best Final Fantasy games ever and the last great PlayStation 2 RPG. On the other hand, a large number of fans of the franchise were less than convinced. With its MMO-like Gambit combat system and wimpy-looking lead character Van, it wasn't the traditional turn-based Final Fantasy experience that many of the hardcore fans of old were craving. If you can look past the differences, you're in for a treat with a world so rich that Square Enix featured it in 2 Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy Tactics on Game Boy Advance, not to be confused with the superior Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of Lions, and Final Fantasy XII. The port marks the first time that PC gamers have been able to play the upgraded Zodiac Age version of Final Fantasy XII, so they'll be getting the shiniest of shiny versions. So go on, head on an adventure with lovable characters such as Bargain Basement Han Solo, Balthier, and sexy Chewbacca Fran. Will you take the trip to Evil Ice? Number 5, Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. Next up on the list is Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology for the 3DS. It's been 7 years since Radiant Historia was released on Nintendo DS in 2011. The new version is an enhanced retelling of the original, with redesigned character art, new character voiceovers, a brand new opening animation by A1 Pictures, and a new theme song. There's also new story content. Stock will now meet a mysterious new character named Nemesia. It's a modern classic with old-school JRPG gameplay, so if you liked games such as Bravely Default, you should probably give this one a try too. Number 4, The Longest 5 Minutes. The Longest 5 Minutes is a spoof of the old 8-bit RPGs of yesteryear. The hero, named Flashback, faces the origin of all evil, the Demon King. It was supposed to be the final battle, but suddenly he loses all memories of his adventure. What is his epic finishing move? Where does he come from? Why is he trying to defeat the Demon King? The hero must try to regain his priceless memories before it's too late. Will he survive the longest 5 minutes of his life? This game earned itself an entry for its novel setup. Starting right at the end and tracking back to find out why is a nice twist. It's kind of like a much cuter Memento. Number 3, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. Based on a popular anime series, this is the first entry to be released on the Xbox One and PC. Welcome back to the world of guns. Gun Gale Online from Sword Art Online 2 is visually enhanced with many landscapes to discover in an all-new original story, supervised by series creator Reki Kawahara. There are plenty of tough bosses to challenge, but you don't have to go it alone. You can engage in 4-player cooperative battles. Number 2, The Secret of Mana Remake. The Secret of Mana is sure to bring back fond memories for those of you old enough to own a Super Nintendo circa 1993, but the young ones out there may not have any idea what all the hype is about. The Secret of Mana was, and still is, considered one of the best action RPGs of the classic era, as it featured great visuals combined with brilliant music and storytelling, as well as Zelda-like combat. On top of that, it was one of the first RPGs to feature co-op, as friends could pop in and control members of the 3-man party. For those of you that missed it, now's your chance to experience where role-playing began. The game launches in just over a week, and the remake will feature revamped visuals for the entire game, a vivid mana-filled world rebuilt in 3D. The original system has been reworked in an effort to realize a modern action RPG with improved gameplay. For those of you who own a Nintendo Switch and are feeling left out, there is some good news. Recently, Masaru Oyamada, the game's producer, stated that although nothing is confirmed, they were blown away by the amount of fan feedback on this issue, and are considering bringing it to the Switch in the future. Number 1, Kingdom Come: Deliverance. As a Kickstarter backer for this very impressive looking game, there could be only one choice for the top spot this month. In this first-person open-world RPG, head to a realistic medieval Europe. A simple young blacksmith loses everything due to war. He tries to fulfill his father's dying wish, but fate has other ideas. When pulled into a conspiracy to save a kidnapped king and save the country, will you be a knight, a rogue, or a bard? Kingdom Come: Deliverance is set in the year 1403 in the Kingdom of Bohemia, part of the lands of the Bohemian Crown in what is now known as the Czech Republic. The level of realism is impressive and extends to combat and armor. It reminds us a little of a more realistic Elder Scrolls game, and it is definitely one not to be missed in February. We're promised an epic non-linear story from Daniel Vavra, who is an award-winning designer who some of you may already know from the Mafia series. That's a wrap for the top RPGs of February. Did I miss your favorite February RPG release? What games are you looking forward to this year? Let us know in the comments below.